Howdy and welcome everyone to Mr. East's classroom. I'm Mr. East. I'm going to be your teacher for the year, and I'm very excited to meet all of you, or at least I will be when I see you in class. So this is the introductory video for World Geography. If you've made it here and you're in World Geography, congratulations, you're already well on your way to succeeding in this class. So this year we're doing a hybrid format, which means that part of your class learning is going to be in class, which is exciting. I'm happy we can all do that and actually have person-to-person contact. And the other half is going to be delivered to you online. Obviously, this has been a challenge for everyone, and I'm sure as new students, it can be pretty anxiety-inducing for all of you. What I want to do this year is reduce anxiety as much as possible and deliver content, course content, in a way that is easy for you to access and hopefully interesting and engaging for both of us. I know I've been having quite a time figuring out how best to do this. Now, because you're here, you can see that I've decided to deliver most of our classroom information, or at least any information where you'd be taking notes and absorbing content online via YouTube, which is what you're looking at right now. Hopefully, as the year progresses, I'm going to get better at making YouTube content for you. And I'll hear your feedback, so I'll know what's working for you, what's not working. But this video is meant to introduce you to this YouTube format, but also to introduce you to the class as a whole. So we'll cover YouTube first, and then we'll move on to content itself. So pretty much all of your content let me phrase it this way. The class is going to consist of two basic parts. That's going to be your in-class time and your at-home time, your remote learning time. Now for remote learning, you're going to be watching mostly YouTube videos and doing some book reading. And of course I'll have some assignments for you to do as well. The purpose basically of remote time is to prepare you for our in-person time. Okay? In-person time is going to be much more engaging. I'm going to expect all of you to participate in class, to interact. I've got a lot of fun stuff planned for that. But in order for any of that to work, at home you're going to have to do the job of actually watching the class material. And when I say watching, I mean actively watching. So you're going to be taking notes. And I'm going to talk to all of you about how that's best done. But for this video, I just want you to basically get used to the idea of watching class content in this way. Now, as you can tell by that intro I provided you with, I want to make this entertaining and fun because I really do think that the online format that we're all looking at now has a lot of potential to spice up the class, to make it familiar and engaging to you. I mean, all of you guys are growing up in a day and age where you already consume so much media online. It's a format you're kind of familiar with, but you're probably most familiar with it as an entertainment source. You know, you may watch YouTube videos about sports or video games and all these kinds of things. We're going to have to get used to the idea of, using it for those things on the one end, but on the other end, using it as a very valuable information tool. And so it's kind of the first tool that we're learning in this class is, the power of the internet, which really has a lot of untapped potential for all of you. But aside from just being a really untapped source of broad information, I think the YouTube format itself has a lot to offer you all as a means of receiving information. So in a normal lecture format where I'd be talking to all of y'all and we'd have a back and forth going, in that format I may pass over a piece of information that you may not have caught, that may have slipped your mind. You may have been busy trying to open a folder or something, and you missed it. Or, let's be real, in class sometimes you're tired and you want to sleep at your desk. I remember how it was to be a student sometimes. We all have different things coming into the day. With YouTube, you can pause the video at any time. In fact, I highly encourage you to pause the video to catch up on note-taking, to think a bit. This video is going to be kind of short, but for longer videos, if you need to pause and take a break, use the restroom, have a snack, that's totally fine. If you need to rewatch a video, I highly encourage you to do so. I'm going to put work into making these videos, and I really want you guys to put work into watching them. But I encourage you to find out what ways work best for you. Periodically in in-class sessions, we're going to talk about how everyone's doing with online content to see, maybe your friend Bobby has a better way of taking notes on a video than you're currently using. Or maybe all of y'all have frustrations that I wasn't aware of, and y'all can bring that to my attention. So we're going to try and lean into those things of having a sort of permanent content platform on YouTube that we can all learn how best to use. And I'm excited to see how that unfolds. Okay, now part 2 of this video, right, introducing you guys to the content you're all going to be learning. And I want you to shift mental gears now. So I was just talking at you about sort of very nitty-gritty, technical, YouTube-y type stuff. I want you to change your frame of mind now. So just lean back in your chair, clear your mind, and get ready to sort of imagine and think about your own life experience I'm going to bring up to you. Alright, so now that your heads are all clear, I want you to think about the space that you are in. Okay? And this is just to prepare you for sort of thinking in geographical terms at a very small level. Look around the room you're in. I don't know what room it is, but maybe it's a living room, it could be your bedroom, maybe an office. Okay? Now, you're in that room for a specific reason right now, right? You're watching a class video, you're doing your homework, you're learning. Maybe you're not too happy about doing those things, but that's what you're doing at the moment. But you may use that room for other purposes, right? It could be for sleeping, it could be for, most rooms in your house are named for a specific function. The bedroom is for sleeping, the living room is for living, I guess. The kitchen is for cooking, etc. You can use those rooms for other functions, but your home is laid out probably in a specific way, maybe flexibly, maybe rigidly, depending on your household, right? Now, consider if you wanted to do something right now. Let's say, Mr. East, I'm just really tired of your silly video and I would like to do something else. I would like to play video games, or I would like to have a drink of water. If it's a class day, please don't play video games. But if you do want to drink of water, where would you go? Okay, you might go to your bathroom, you might go to the kitchen. So now you have a task in mind that you want to do, and you know that you need to get somewhere to do that task, right? Now, unless that task is in the same room you're in now, right? Say you're in your bedroom and you want to sleep. Okay, well then you just flop on the bed and you go to sleep. But say you want to drink of water. Where do you need to go? Okay, well I need to go downstairs to the kitchen, right? Now you have to think of a route, and you have to think of objects either in that route or in the way. When you get to the kitchen, right, now you have to think about, okay, well if I want water then I use the faucet, because this is a place with water, and the mechanism for getting the water is the faucet. So I use it that way. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, Mr. East, this is extremely simplistic, I do this without thinking, and that's all true. But what you are basically doing is thinking like a geographer on a really small scale. You're thinking about the space you live in, and what it can do, what you can do in it, and how you get those things done. And that is effectively what geography is. Okay? And this is what we want to do. We want to look at how do geographic principles work on a very small scale. And then, once we're comfortable with those, we can start applying them to bigger and bigger regions. And just like all things where you start small, by the end of it, you can do some really fun, cool stuff. Okay? And this class is meant to basically make exploring and understanding the broader world not scary at all. I want it to be very familiar to you. If someone asks you, hey, how would I do such and such in Paraguay? I don't want you to know immediately. I want you to know how to figure out how to do such and such in Paraguay. Okay? And then you're halfway to being an adult. So now that we've kind of looked at very basic geographic questions in your home, I want you to kind of think about your first day coming to school for orientation. Now, you had all kinds of questions and feelings on your mind, maybe about wearing masks in school and social distancing, and am I going to meet friends? Is it going to be long or boring or fun or what have you? But there's a whole bunch of other really important questions that you probably didn't have on your mind, but that were just as important to getting you to school. And those questions are, the basic fundamentals. Where is school, Brother Martin? Where is my home? And how do I get there, right? What do I need to know? How would you be prepared for these things? So what tasks do I have in mind? What's the environment like? Basically, just all these practical questions. Now, most of this would have been taken care of for you by either your parent or your teachers or your guardians, what have you, right? But I really do want you to think about that. Think about the drive to school. If you live in Gentilly or near it, it may have been a very brief process, okay, which has its own set of geographic questions, like what is the environment of my home and school like, them being in the same area. Or if you could have come from very far away. You could have come from outside of town. How long was the drive? What obstacles did you have to cross? Did you cross the river? Did you use the interstate? How many turns did you make? Did you encounter a lot of street lights? Was there road work? Was there inclement weather, either coming to or from school? Now, obviously, I'm not going to ask you to detail any of that information on the internet. We got to be wise about things. But I want you to think about those things. Because if you think, well, why is learning about geography, why is it important to me? Well, every day you're called to think like a geographer, okay? Anytime you want to do something in the world, you got to think like a geographer. And the better you get at it, the more things you can do, the more knowledgeable you will be, the better equipped you will be to just get along in the world. And let me tell you, that's going to be a very valuable skill. But more than just being valuable in like a practical, applied way, it's also very fun. One day all of you will be able to drive and travel and be adults. And that means that you either will need to go to places for work, or you may just want to go places for fun. Being acquainted with geographic knowledge, what I hope to show you is that it's really liberating. It gives you freedom to know what things are like in the world and how you can do them, and also how other people do things. That's something we're also going to be looking at, is how do different societies and cultures do things where they are? Are they forced to by their environment? Do they have cultural reasons? Okay, so these are all questions, and I don't want to bombard you with information in this video. I just want to get you to start asking questions and looking at the world in spatial terms, and be prepared to talk about your own personal geography, where you live, your circles and stuff, because we're going to talk about this in class. But also just, get excited. Think about how can I use geography in the long run to do what I want to do, to explore what I want to explore. Because that is one of the most exciting parts about what we're looking at, and it's something I hope to explore with all of you.